Those lights. I get there.
Here we are. We're
All right.
live.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a special guest with us today on Goose Troop. We don't have the music, so we can't dance
You
today,
got
right?
music. You got
We
music.
don't have the music, so we can't dance.
We got our singer over there.
Yeah, you can sing for us. All right, welcome. I am Goose, as you know, the host of this Goose Troop, and along with me is my trusty sidekick. And you haven't made your way into the circle yet,
No,
but
I
you're
won't.
close.
I
You're
won't.
close.
Oh.
As
Well,
Cindy,
what did I do to get close?
I don't know. Quit giving me work to do, and you get
yes.
even closer.
Okay.
All right. Well, joining us today is a very special friend of ours that we just met maybe a few weeks ago. I think we sat and talked. Uh, please welcome to the show, sir. If you were introduce yourself and actually what you do.
Well, thank you very much for having me here, first of all. And yeah, it was really nice to meet you the other day. My name is Nicholas. I'm the owner of Azteca Mexican Grill here in Springfield, Illinois. I've been running and operating this restaurant for over 15 years. We're going into our 16th year.
So you've been running this for 15 years.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh wow.
We
Have you
opened
been
in
in the industry
2007.
before? Have you been in the industry before prior to this?
Yeah, I always somehow was connected to the industry. Not in the business aspects of running a business, but into cooking. I was always surrounded
Oh,
by cooking and people. I'm from South America. I'm from Bolivia, right?
yeah.
I was born and raised there. And I come from a place where food is everything, right? Food connects people,
Oh,
grandma
yes,
cooking
yes.
out, and then all the cousins, uncles, and the whole family getting together.
Yeah.
Um,
That's something I want to say too, though,
yeah.
is I'd like to ask too, is since you are in the food industry, right?
Mhm.
You said yourself that what connects family together, correct? Especially in where you're from, Bolivia, correct?
Correct. Yes.
All right, so that does it's a way to connect families together.
Hmm.
How in this industry do you feel that you connect families here as
Hmm.
well, or your customers, or so to speak?
Well, the same way like grandma connected with us, by treating everybody like as family, right?
Yes.
There's always a saying "Mi casa es su casa,"
Right.
which is basically what we do as hostess, as owner of restaurants. So, we create an environment when people come in and feel like they're at home. They're treated as family. They are treated as part of this restaurant. So
So see, what
Mhm.
would you say? Si casa, mi casa. It means my house,
Su casa,
su casa.
mi casa.
Can you say that sentence?
Casa, mi casa.
Which means my house, your house.
Yes,
Yes.
that's
Correct.
correct. That's
Yes.
what it means.
So you invite people of all people that come into your restaurant.
Hmm.
You treat them as family. Now, do you greet your customers that come in?
Well, in this industry, as everybody's gonna know, your position changes several times. You can come in trying to be the greeter, but you end up being the dishwasher, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you never know. I try. My goal it is to go to every table and try to talk to the customers and ask them how the
Just
experience
sharing this
was.
on my
Uh-huh.
Facebook so more people could tune in.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's my goal. My main goal is just to have people come in here and try to go and talk to them. But like sometimes I had to be in the bar and I cannot. But I think with the years I've been very successful to connect with them and try to create a relationship more than uh that is not just a trade of hey, I give you food, you give me money.
Yeah.
More of a relationship. I know you kids. I see you coming here a long time. Who are you? And introducing myself as uh, you know,
You mentioned earlier when you were when it was a family event in the cooking. Now, what we normally would do would get together on a Sunday with our family, and then we would have the meal. Now, this would be a daily thing for you, or would it be just certain
um,
days? Or
growing up was a daily thing, and when I say daily thing, it's like you have to eat every day, right?
right?
So you are surrounded by food every single day,
Yes.
and also the process of cooking and putting a meal in front of you is not a process that like sometimes here like you go to a fast food and you get it like in
Open the
10,
window.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Over there, no, grandma is cooking at 8 in the morning. She's
Right.
Yeah.
doing her prep. He's making everything from scratch, so
Yes.
we can have a good meal around noon.
Yes.
In South America, back in the day, now it's changing a little bit. I used to like literally go to the to a school and leave school, come home, have a meal, and go back to school. The reason is the schools don't have enough budget or money to to feed everybody.
Now, were you eating 3 meals a day or just maybe one large meal?
Um, it just like depends because it changes a lot. Like we try to get like 2 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate. We are not all as fortunate as I am in South America. There's people that have no meals
Yes.
at all, But for me, I was fortunate enough that I was trying to get like a small breakfast and lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
And for me, like I said, having a roof and food under my head, above my head, it was just like something that I learned to appreciate, and it's something that like taught me to be grateful for, everything else
Absolutely. And
to this
even,
point.
Yeah.
it's even tougher now. I just heard on the news this morning a lot more people are starving. Yeah.
Well, food is like scarce of food is been a really big thing since COVID.
Yeah.
And the reasons we donated a lot of food trucks, a lot of food and meals
Oh,
is
you have
because
you have
yeah,
done donations.
I remember.
yeah,
I remember.
during
Yeah.
COVID and prior COVID too. I started doing this in around 2018, where we'll have like the food truck, and then we will donate it to one organization that will have like either helping the homeless or uh, organizations like that will feeding people that with low
Income.
income,
Yeah,
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 or that have no income at
yeah,
all.
at all.
And then one of the persons that I was doing this before COVID always told me, you really do something whenever you help someone that I cannot help you back in a way, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of us business we try, okay, if we take food here, maybe they'll come back as a customer, but when you help someone, you truly cannot give you nothing in exchange. That's what you're really helping, right? Like
It's a
Yeah.
gift both ways.
it is.
It really is.
Yeah.
It makes you feel better, and you help them.
100%. Like
Yes.
I think like doing these 16 years, like and being in a position, right? Because you have to be in a position. People sometimes say like,
Mhm.
hey, people with money are greedy. But the thing is like if you don't get to a certain position where you are not worried about feeding your family, but you can also feed others.
Yes.
It's a position of luxury. It's a position that allows you to do that, and it makes you feel better than
Yeah.
like
Yes.
But not there's not a lot of owners that I've run into, sir, owners slash managers as
Mhm,
yourself, Nicholas, that I find give the personal touch as you do,
mhm,
or even donate. You not only your time, your food,
mhm,
and various things that you have, even
mhm,
money. I'm sure.
mhm,
There's not a lot of owners that I've ran into that we ran into with restaurants that we visited that will do that.
mhm.
So for that, sir, I commend you for that. Really, truly, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, because what takes a bigger person
Mhm,
to donate, like you had said, to give to those who are less fortunate than we
mhm,
are. It takes a
Yeah.
bigger person to do that and not have anything in return, as you said.
right.
You're not expecting anything in return.
Mhm.
You're doing it to show love, to show, again, su casa
Es mi
es
casa.
mi casa.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, it comes a lot to perspective, right? Like a lot of people that don't know the background or not having this stuff in
Yeah.
front of them
Yeah.
are not aware of how it works out there and how people suffer, right? Everybody can get a job, right?
Right.
But in order to understand the whole thing of like where these people come from, or mental problems,
Yes.
or
Yes.
or
Yes.
or
Yes.
home abuse, or women that being like abused at home, or like kids that are being abused, and
Yeah.
not
Or
having the
neglected,
or
even just
neglected,
neglect.
or having a shower to go to your job the next day. It
Yeah.
goes beyond that. And unless you has passed through things like that in your life, I
Yeah.
think it's hard to connect. I don't think people mean bad by not giving. I don't think they understand, and they have not been in the other side, right? And the other side being like poor, or being in a place where like you go like 2 3 days without a meal,
Yeah.
or a shower or a roof on top of your table. I mean, on top of your head. It's very hard. And once you understand that reality, then you become more empathetic to others. When
Well, my grandparents, and my folks that, they went more of the grandparents went through the depression. So once they
Mhm,
got things, they weren't never going to give them up. They're going to fight tooth and nail for it, and they're not going to share because
But-
they had nothing at
But
the time.
they respected that. They understood what it took to get that, right? Correct?
Yeah,
So they valued it more, which is what he's saying
Yeah.
from where he grew up, from when I grew up.
yeah,
We value what we have today a
right.
lot more, and we can see the other side, correct, Nicholas?
Right.
We can see the other side. So your grandparents maybe see the other side of it as well, right?
Now.
In the depression.
Yeah.
Well, so they've learned, but what Nicholas was saying earlier is that some people who are more fortunate than
Mhm.
even ourselves maybe don't know that side of it. Maybe
Well, privilege is a big word, right? And not a lot of people like to use it because they say, "Oh, like it's not my fault that I was born into privilege," right?
No,
Well, it is not like we're not hating on privilege. We're
well,
just
it's not my
saying
fault
like,
that I was born poor either. I mean, it's not my fault.
right.
That yeah.
But it could be things could be made, like, things could change, if you're
Yes.
fortunate enough, right? The point of the whole awareness of these situations is like when things change for you, instead of like becoming a hoarder or something and not
Yes.
let it go,
Yeah.
Right.
you have to see the bigger picture and say, well, how is my impact in this world going to be, right? And I'm gonna only impact the people that come here for my restaurant and give me money for a meal,
Yeah.
which makes me it creates for me an income, or I'm gonna impact with that money people that cannot give me anything and I can help out. So in a way, I feel like I really doing a difference or I'm changing something, right?
Yes.
I cannot change all the politic aspects of
Yeah.
politicians and other things like that. I cannot change any on the bigger picture. I do can change my little space and community and try to teach others
I
that
agree
this
with
is
this.
more rewarding at the end than the bigger goal of becoming successful or rich.
Well,
Some people think they have to do a grand gesture. I
Right.
mean, all you got to do is do something simple. Take a bag of food down in the food pantry.
Yeah.
Drop off some clothes somewhere. And
Yes.
and you don't have to wait till you're in a better spot. Do with what you have to share with. Yeah.
Even donated your time, which is like,
Yes. Oh yes.
like
I
just
love
go
that
and
too. Yeah.
and have a conversation, or like what you're doing perfect, like, having a conversation with someone
Yeah.
that is going through a hard time and being empathetic and understanding their
Very
story.
much so.
It's sometimes bigger than you think it would be, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes
It is.
people don't want money, and then you assume because they look in a position, they want something from you, right?
Right. Right.
All they wanted is to be understood, to be to see where they come from, and to offer them something that your time and listening is bigger than most of the stuff for these people,
than
because
money I could give
right,
them
no,
or
no, no,
anything like
because we're like
Yeah.
humans, like our nature with pride, like men are we come out with pride. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like,
yeah,
I'm a man. I can take
pride.
care of my stuff. That's how I grew up. I grew up in South America in a macho culture. Whenever like, hey, you're a man, you gotta go get your stuff. If you want it, go get it. If you get in a fight, just figure it out. Life, right?
Yeah.
And then that comes with a lot of layers, though. Because people here they're tough because they're like muscle, and they're because they're aggressive.
Yeah.
Toughness come from like, okay, how can you overcome hard times? Like, or how can you be a good husband, a good father, a good member of the community? That's tough because anybody become tough with the fists, right?
Yeah.
Being tough, like mentally, and,
Yeah.
and going through hard times, and always be there for your family, your friends, your community. That's going to be tough. Having the discipline to do this, not when you only speak about it and talk, but having this thing as a way of life.
The resolve that you come up with, the answers that you're coming up with is what you're really telling us, Nicholas,
Mhm.
is how you handle those situations. How do you come out of those situations, correct?
Correct.
Is what you're telling us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So based on that, I mean, some people, like you said, some people could go the opposite way to extremes,
All right. Of course.
like you said. But that
Mhm.
doesn't really make you tough. That doesn't make you a man, doesn't make you a woman,
Right.
you know?
Well, if when you go to other situations, or like I say, like people that go to rough periods of time, they go into drugs, the other things,
Yes.
but because they're like the mental toughness is not there, right? Or they have too much stuff on top of them, right? Like we don't know. It's easy to judge
Like
someone,
you
but
said, with the person's mental health, most places I go,
Mhm.
I know the owner, by the time I'm there within a few weeks, if I'm a regular, they'll come out and they'll talk to me because I take the time and the energy to do that. Or even if you're sitting there in the doctor's office and the person's sitting next to you. You start talking to them.
Yeah.
You don't know what you might have said. They might have been having a rough day, and you just might just be enough distraction to
Yeah.
put them in a little bit of better place for a little while, and they know. Hey, there are people out there that care. There are people that
Yes.
talk to you. And
So,
no matter,
so again, all
yeah,
you offered them was your ear and your tongue.
yeah,
That's really all you offered them,
Yeah,
correct? You
right,
just offered them
right.
conversation.
And like I said, most of the times that's the bigger things you can do.
Share a laugh,
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's when in
Yes.
this
and a good
industry,
memory that you told me about your family. I told you something about my family, and they're like, hey, yeah, or they maybe gave you some advice, or you gave them some advice.
memories
Didn't
is a, is
cost
a
you
good
anything. Yes.
it's a good word. And that's what we do here in the restaurant,
Yeah.
right? Create memories, create experience for people. But even though, like, that's when we say, on this other side of this wall, I don't know if you say it, our and it's online on our website.
Website.
And there's always a open space at the table, right?
Oh,
That's
I like
our
that.
saying.
Yeah.
For
I love
anybody,
that.
there's always an open space at our table,
Yeah.
because like when growing up with grandma, I'll have like 10 friends, and if 6 of them come in, like grandma will do something and we'll feed all of them, right? Like,
Yeah.
no matter where you come from, no matter
right.
what your background is, no matter like what you're going for, there's always open space on the table.
Yes.
Now on a Friday night, people will like say, "Well, I had to wait 45 minutes or a space in your restaurant. What is your motto?" I mean, if you wait, there will be space, but like, I don't want to sit you and eat in the floor. But
You know what?
uh,
One point, not to take you off the
yeah,
topic,
go ahead.
but about staying on the topic, sir, is how did you get started in management, and when did you know that this is what you want to do?
You know what? Like a rejection have a lot of things to do in my life, right? And by rejections, I mean things that I wanted to do.
You mean by being rejected by women? Because I get that a lot, sir. If that's what you're saying.
Well, that's part of life too,
Yes.
because you think like life or God and anybody is rejecting you for a reason.
Yes.
And I think the reason is so you can find the correct one for you,
Yes. Yes.
And for me, it was the same thing. Like, I didn't understand. I wanted to be a pilot when I was a kid because my uncle was a pilot. And when I went to the cockpit of the airplane one time, I was like, dude, this is a dream job. They drink
Oh.
coffee and read the newspaper.
You
And
weren't
I'm
scared?
right.
Like I'd be scared.
No,
Why
I was
leave
so
it for time?
excited. I was like, this is the best job ever.
Oh.
But whenever I was in high school, I got a job. My stepfather got me a job on helicopters because they used to do the pipelines from Brazil to Bolivia in helicopters.
Yeah.
And I love to fly.
How far is that from Brazil to?
Oh, it's
Bolivia?
quite a distance,
it is.
like but you fly through the whole pipeline. Oh yeah, since I was like 18 years old, and I love the experience of the freedom when you're in the air, right? And
Yeah.
and that was my goal. So when I applied for schools and stuff, I wanted to be a pilot. That happened in 2000, right? 2001 when I got approved to come here to Florida to start studying that as a profession. September 11 happens in 2001.
2001.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Bad year to be a pilot for a South American guy, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, like the rejection of going through things that you think you wanted, but they were meant not for you, is what it.
It's a learning experience.
Yeah, it is,
Yes,
and
it
then
is.
learning, like when a door closes, another opens,
Another
right?
opens, yes, a new
And
chapter.
yeah, and I have to
Yes, absolutely.
rethink everything. And my life since there, like I say, like I don't know how much time we have, but it's a long process since I came to this country for the first
The
time.
road's not straight; it's crooked.
Oh.
Sometimes you think, "Oh, we're not getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting way over." Then all of a sudden, it veers back to where you think, and then,
Yeah.
then you realize you think, "Hey, this taught me something," or it's really cool.
Yeah, as long as we're not going in circles, right?
Yeah.
We will learn from our mistakes,
Yeah,
and we try to
yeah.
to pivot all these like curves and ups and
Yes,
downs.
yes.
Which is what you were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
Your resolve in it and how you handle those situations.
Mhm.
So for you, I guess, how did you handle the situation? Because you said it was your dream that you were a small child.
Right.
You saw that, and you were in the cockpit, and so you saw
Mhm.
it, and you're 18 years old. You were flying.
Right.
So when did you come to the realization that, hey, this isn't going to be my path?
I think like you really don't come to a realization. It's just like life happens for
Life
you,
happens.
you know.
Yes.
You still want it, like to this day I still wanted to fly and be a
Me
private
True.
What other things did you fly besides the helicopter?
I float in commercial planes, and I flew in a small, like I was
Small
fortunate enough here that I met a family that have their own plane here in
The,
Springfield.
the
And
Tom Cruise plane that he flies or not?
no, 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 not of the like F-15s, you know, but that would be like good, you know. I get my leather jacket and my
Yeah.
Ray-Bans, and I'll get out of that. That would be cool for a selfie nowadays.
Yeah.
But you know, like I've been fortunate enough that I met people now that I flew within the private planes, you know, in a different aspect. So I think life try to get you lessons, you know, and try to make you rethink. Uh,
Being stronger.
right.
So life teaches you to be stronger.
Of course, yes, yes,
Hopefully.
yeah. In every aspect, you know, emotional, physical,
Yes.
and mentally. So,
How much is it? How much is it? How much is would you say in your experiences,
right.
guys, both of you? How much would you say is mental going through life? How much of
Oh,
it is mental toughness?
I think like I mean for me, and this is personal, like it's 80%.
And 80%
Eighty
for you,
percent.
and Cindy for you, how
I
much
would
is
say
mental?
mental. A lot of it's mental. A lot of mental. If your mind is not right, or not where you need it to be, life is really hard.
So that's how. So you're saying that's how maybe addiction started. Like I'm addicted to cigarettes,
You're right.
right? As you know, I'm addicted to them.
Hmm.
And I think, and I've told my nephews and nieces, don't ever start because it's the hardest thing to stop. It's one of the
Right.
hardest things to stop, be it alcohol or whatever the case may be.
Right.
It's the hardest thing to stop. And I think sometimes food becomes that way too.
Oh yeah.
Correct? I mean,
Correct.
food
Oh
puts you that way
yes.
as well.
100%.
Who doesn't
Food,
love?
whatever food or any like cigarettes or anything gives you, it's that like fulfillment of stuff when you feel some kind of emptiness on you, right? Like if you have like anxiety or something that,
Or
and
maybe pain.
or
That
pain
pain,
or
It numbs you.
yeah, it gives you that moment of like that you have to think about only in that moment that is happening, and that gives you that thing. But I think like whenever you do this kind of stuff, it's just like people make too bigger of goals for themselves and put a lot of pressures on themselves, you
So
know.
you're saying too
Yes.
high of a
Yeah,
goal that
like
got upsetting.
if you can say, like you say a lot of kids nowadays are addicted to video games, right?
Yes.
So they say like, okay, how many hours a day you play? Or else 4 6 hours. Oh, great. What about like,
What could you done?
yeah, what can you reduce like
How many
one
hours of
hour
MLB
and go
play?
5?
He
How many
plays.
cigarettes you smoke
He plays
Oh,
a
MLB.
day?
That's his other addiction.
I'm probably about maybe a third pack a day, maybe a little bit more than that.
What
Maybe.
about if you take 2 out of that day? And then the next day you'll try to take 3 and 4, and then your goal becomes smaller, right? As you go, because some days are going to be different for you. Some
Yes.
days you'll be more stressful and then you'll do more. Some days
Mhm.
you'll do less. But it's a little small goal. I think it will be bigger
Exactly.
of
People look at the finish line. They don't
right.
celebrate the small
And they
victories.
think this
Right.
finish line is
Right.
like here around the
Right.
corner, right?
The person that was sitting in the chair that couldn't get out of the day before.
Yeah.
Okay, so they start moving. They get out of the chair a little easier. They go. Then they find like, well, let me walk around the block. Let me
Yeah.
get to the gym.
Yeah.
Just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
And then, like I say,
absolutely.
like people say, going to the gym, but some people are not gym people.
No.
I am not gym people. I hate to be running on a treadmill and 4 walls. I already go on a walk. I already
Or
go like
walk, yes,
or
yes.
walk my
Take your
dog.
walk
I
the
feel like
dog.
there's a purpose on that, but it still keep me
Just get
active, right?
outside.
Yeah.
Enjoy the nature.
Anything
Yeah.
that gives you out of moving,
Yes.
it's closer to a goal of like
Like
either
we talked about the people that report it, maybe they work in one spot and then they've got
right.
something. I got this cleaned out. I got something to look at,
Start with a
and then
corner.
move around the room.
So you're
Let's
saying
go.
small goals
Small goals,
versus, hey,
always.
I'm gonna clean the whole house
Right,
today.
right.
That's
Yeah.
not realistic.
But the small goals
Right.
also like will perspective, right? With mental like toughness. Like that doesn't matter if you clean a corner, but the next day come out with 2 bags of new thing, right? Like
Yeah.
it's small goals with a
Right,
purpose.
right.
Small goals. Okay, I clean this. I'm gonna keep it clean for a week. I'm not moving to any room until this corner is going to be clean for entire week, right?
Exactly.
So once you keep the
I like that.
discipline to do that little corner and not coming home with more things to put on top of that,
Right.
right,
Yeah, you clean it
then
out.
then
and
you
just
you
go
are
back in.
achieving something and you're maintaining,
Yes, I
because
got
that's the restaurant industry, right?
Yes.
If I walk in this door every day and I
Yeah.
close the door for little things that happen. I come here every day and it's like, okay, the freezer is not working well. Let's fix that, right? Small goals. Or two of the guys in the kitchen have not come to work. Or two servers are just quit. All right, let's make the first thing, which is let's open that door.
Yeah.
All right. Once we open that door, then we'll see what happened, right? So we start resolving one thing at a time, and after that we move on, right? But that allows us to give us a little bit of like movement because we don't know, it might be a slow day, and then if we close the door, instead of selling 600, we'll sell zero, right?
Right.
So it's just like little things and try to fix those problems because problems in life are gonna come every day, you know.
So those are the things that you face as a manager, as a
Mhm.
restaurant manager. So that's what you were saying earlier, is that there are days where you have to be behind the bar. There are days where you're gonna have to be the dishwasher, correct?
Correct.
Floor.
Sweep the floor. Like
Take an order.
for you, Cindy, when you first come into a restaurant, what is the first thing you notice when you first, like when we first came into this restaurant, when we first came in? Here's what I noticed: is that your employees were cleaning. They made
Always.
sure this restaurant, yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
they made sure this restaurant was clean, correct, Cindy?
Yeah.
They made sure it was clean. Is that one of the first things that you noticed when we walked into this
Well,
restaurant?
since when we got here and there was no one was here as far as the customers.
Right.
First thing when I come in, I like to see how crowded it is. Like I've told him, I look at the parking lot even before. If it's crowded, I may not even go in. You know what I mean?
Right.
But since we got here, I mean, it's decorated very nicely.
Uh-huh.
And
It really is.
some people in the chat room are wanting to know about what's going
Oh,
on back here.
here, let me show that real quick.
Yeah,
I'll show that
yeah.
real quick, guys.
Right.
This is really cool that he's got on the wall. Take a look at this, guys.
Yeah.
We've got Steve, Corey, Irene, Brent, Christina. We've got several people in the chat room. Look how cool this is that he's got. And I'd like to actually, if you allow me, sir, maybe
Yeah, of
later
course, sure.
after,
Yeah.
maybe give you a view of the restaurant so that this way
Like
people
to
in the
see-
chat room
see
can
you on-
see.
They probably like to see what you look like.
Well, he's a good-looking
They-
guy,
he
isn't
He
he?
is a good looking
He's
guy.
a good,
He really
he's better
is.
looking than we are.
Well, speak
Don't
for
believe
yourself.
these guys.
No, he-
They're trying to get more views. That's what it is.
I don't know. People like you, sir, might help us.
Yeah,
Really, my,
yeah.
my goal was, our goal really,
Right.
truly, is not only to get to know some of the local restaurant establishment people, but actually just kind of find out where you're at in your restaurant. Like, what are some things, maybe a story that you could give, maybe a good story that a customer came in here where you treated them like them, and they
Mhm.
saw that.
All right.
Because that's what I saw when I first met you. Is like, you
Yeah.
know what, you didn't know me at all. You didn't know if I was, let's face it, you didn't know if I was full of crap or if I was
Right.
being sincere with you.
Right.
But now, being talking, you can see that Cindy and I are sincere with you.
Right.
And so you really didn't know me, and that was one thing I picked up on with you, sir, when I met you, is that you spent your time, that you're obviously very busy, because I saw that you were busy with your employees.
Yes.
You're very busy, but you spent time with me, just
Mhm.
talking with me
Right.
and finding out what it is I wanted to do. And what we want to do, Cindy, correct, is basically talk with people such as yourself who have local establishments and get the word out. Hey, Nicholas, as you can see, right? You can see for yourself that he's a really nice, outstanding
Very
young
nice
man.
man.
Yeah,
Yes.
good-looking fellow.
Yes.
Well, thank you. And I think like that it comes through all these things we've been talking since the beginning, right? Like treating everybody like his family, like no matter how busy you are. Like,
What I've noticed is that
yeah.
you gave me respect the moment I came in here,
Right.
and have not shown anything else other than that.
Right.
Right.
Always like, like you had to, in this industry, you learn that like you have to be like open to things. And then you will learn like what kind of
Yes.
person you're talking to,
Right.
or
Right.
it's very clear. Maybe you can be like fake to one or two people, and that's it. But when you have touched so many people, so many, and they have a good, experience with you, that's what is going to create your reputation. That's what is going to create your following,
You're introduced to so many different personalities. You'll have the one customer that's like, "Oh, this is one." then you have the
Oh,
critics.
oof.
I don't
You
care
know,
what
but
you do.
Oh
I don't
man!
care
Oh
what
no
you do.
no!
yeah,
They're like
Just
that's one of the
push
things
forward.
that we're learning right now
yeah,
in this moment in this industry, right? We're learning like that to the saying the customer is always right. It is. We still take that to the core. I
yeah,
still have to keep my employees to be accountable for for what they do. They cannot be lazy. They cannot be like not cleaning, not doing a service, not treating everybody correctly, right? I still hold my standards tall. But now my standards are also told for myself and for my
yes,
staff in order of respect, right? A customer come in here and 99, I'll say, because people like to see the bad things more than the good things. But
oh,
99%
So
of our
why
customers,
do they remember that mostly when you go into a
yes,
restaurant?
yeah,
Why is it always the bad thing? Or hey, they forgot my straw, and then you get upset. Like, why is it
I,
that one thing, but
because
everything else that server did
when you're
was
when
exceptional?
you're looking at the news, that's all they record. So your mind is geared to look
right,
for that.
So we're
right.
trained to think that way, is what you're
That
saying.
way.
Well,
We're kind of trained to think
I
that
think
way.
it's because ego, ego make it about ourselves. But when you learn to put ego aside, and it's not about you, what about that person? I've just like came in from the hospital and her mother is dying or something,
Yeah,
and she's
Yes,
really stressed,
yes.
and she
oh,
really wants to have this meal good,
yeah,
and then you forget something and push the water above the glass,
It
right?
just she boils over.
So don't make it
Yeah.
about yourself.
yeah,
That's why you separate it. Put your ego aside and say, like, you know what? She's having a bad day. I don't want to say bad word,
No, it's
yes,
okay.
but
yes,
she's having a bad day. Let her have her bad day, and let's see, right? Now, if she comes across to me like disrespectfully, it's different, right? But if she complain and he's mad, and I don't know what's going on in her personal life, I
No.
don't make it about
oh
me.
yeah,
You know,
no,
what I can do is to do my job the best I can every day, right?
Su casa
It's
es
mi casa,
mi casa.
right?
I worked
Yeah.
retail also, and you can have the same customers every day, like you say. And some most days they're pleasant, but you don't know, like you say, what happened that morning. They might have
Yeah.
got cut off. They might got somebody bumped their car on the way in. Stuff didn't go their way,
Yeah,
but
but that goes both ways too.
both
Like, let
ways.
me interrupt you there. Like, it goes for us too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nobody, like most of the people, I would say 80% of the people doesn't understand how a restaurant works or what are the little things that it takes, the domino effect that goes down, right? Like, they don't know, like, okay, what about the truck didn't bring this, or you're like trying to
yes,
find with like one of the cooks didn't come in, or his kids is sick.
yeah,
So many things in this place to open that door every day for somebody to come in is like, what do you mean? Like, I have these like just last week, right? A guy comes in, I guess he was cold. I was at the food truck in the morning for a fundraiser, right?
yeah.
I helped Wouldn't Be Lovely. We
Oh, yeah,
donated the
I
truck.
saw that. I
Yeah,
saw
we
that.
did that morning. After that, we straight went to another a job that we have commitment for. We went there, the truck died. Like,
Oh,
literally
no,
died, overheated. We pushed that truck, like me and my guy, like a 5-ton truck. We push it like
oh,
it
oh,
was 100 degrees because it was so humid. It
oh,
felt like at
oh,
least
Yeah.
yes,
we
yes.
serviced that, right? Because we didn't want to disappoint
Very
the
nice.
person we did it for, because it was a celebration of life for his father.
Oh,
How big of a day for
wow,
us not to do our job, right? So we did everything we could to serve that person, right?
very nice.
After that, the truck started, it cooled off, it bring here. I was like praying, thanks the Lord, we are here, right? I walk in here, one of my servers didn't show up. I had to change my shirt and jump in the service and be a server, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
And as soon as I go to that front door, a customer is there yelling at my host and saying, "Hey, we call here, like we needed to be seated. They told us there is no way."
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But between the time you call into here, this restaurant is not full, but it's kind of getting full. There is curbside. People don't see the kitchen. There's like
Right,
five or
right.
six tickets for curbside already,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
their expectations are like, all right, I want that table and I want it right now because you told me. And then he started yelling at me. It's like, what about you talk to your staff and you tell them what is going on if you're not gonna seat us right away? And I'm like, at that moment, my level of patience and
Yes,
tolerance
yes,
is
yes.
like here, right? And I'm about to like unleash
Yeah.
Nicholas,
Because you
right?
just came.
Because I'm a nice guy, but also
But
too
you're
like,
still you.
yeah,
You
You're
know,
still
I'm
human.
you're still you.
so.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
then I say like, is this about me? Like, I really breathe for like 2-3 seconds. Say, maybe it's not about me. I saw his family. It's Mother's Day tomorrow. His mom was probably there. He has kids with him. The kids are a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
maybe if I put myself in his shoes, I will understand where he comes his frustration coming from. And he doesn't understand mine, because if I see right now and explaining what I just did, and I come from 10 hours and working in the heat, he will understand my point. But we didn't have time for that. So
Right.
I didn't make it about me. I say, let me get your table together. I put the table together. They came in. The dad, like the father, the older man, always the wiser man, comes in and say, hey, thank you. And just hold my arm like, thank you, right?
Yeah.
That was all I needed to de-escalate that and to
Yeah.
say, okay, this is what I do this because so these people can have a meal, have a good experience, and it's not about me. I'm tired, I overworked, and
Yeah.
I'm here still to have the whole night. But that experience, you see it, if I would have make it about me and if I would explode and bash the guy and
Yeah.
it would have created a lot of
Sure.
discomfort to a lot of people that was not necessary, right? I had to be the bigger person. I had to learn how to make that.
So you shown mental toughness, which is what I asked you to earlier.
Uh,
Really, you shown mental toughness there. You said, "Hey, look,
mhm.
what's the better good, and
Right,
how am I going to come out of this situation to make people happy?"
right.
Right, which is
Right.
what
Compassion.
you actually
Compassion.
did.
Exactly. So,
Yes.
if they're having a good experience, they have a good time, I think we all win.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna go home and say, okay, how did I handle my day? Did I handle it with anger? Or did I handle it like, or all these people that I serve today are gonna be grateful? And and it was exactly what I just told you. The next day, the guy that did the thing with the truck
Yeah.
text me. Everybody was so happy. The food was wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. The company I did that thing, I know everybody there was so appreciative of stuff.
Sure.
The customers we serve on Saturday night, not one customer complained or have it. And it was a Saturday night. It's a busy night, right?
Yeah.
So
Is that your busiest night? Did you say Saturday night's your
Friday
busiest?
night is
Friday
my
night's your
busiest
busiest?
night. Like it goes well every day. Fortunate for us, it's a busy night, right?
Right.
But Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are our top days, right? But again, like when you get there the next day and you get a message and it's like, hey, we appreciate you. One of the ladies that I served with, I was shutting down the truck to come to work, right?
Yeah.
And she comes, oh, I didn't eat. I was like, well, we can get you a nacho. We're making a nacho. She sent me a wonderful message in my phone that says, hey, I hope you understand and how much we appreciate you
Yeah.
doing the extra. You doing
Yeah.
the little things that make a
Sure.
difference in our situation, right? And that for me it's just something that continues to fill out that fuel that want to make everybody happy, right? You want to
Yeah.
make everybody like they to go better than yours, right? And that comes back and fills your energy to do
Oh
it
yeah.
all over again.
So what?
Even when they come in the next time, they remember the last time.
Yeah.
And if
Right,
it was a good experience, that refreshes their mind with that good experience.
right,
So
Yeah.
that's an example that you just gave. Several examples that he just gave,
hmm
where you're talking about people remember the positive things that you did.
right,
Those three examples that you just gave us was were positive, so they didn't necessarily remember the negative. And the gentleman that came in, that you could have went the opposite way. You both could have went the opposite way. All was memorable, correct? Even the
correct.
fundraisers that you did, they
hmm
enjoyed what you did and respected what you did. So my question to you then, sir, is how then do you make each and every customer here make it memorable? And do you teach your employees that, and do they understand it?
hmm Well, I think the teaching comes from example, right? I can talk the big talk, but if I don't do the work, nobody's gonna follow me. I think a lot of
Yes.
business
Yes.
owners
Agreed.
nowadays think, okay, I put the money, I put the investment, I'm taking the risk, and that's it, right? And it's hard to.
Oh, so they don't put on the apron. They don't
Well,
put
I
on.
don't know. Like I personally, I'm not saying they
Yeah.
don't. Some of them do. You're
Sure.
right, but I'm saying is the best way to do it is to be there with them, pushing them to be better. Right? If I wanted to my restaurant clean, I
Yes.
had to be the first one cleaning because they see, okay, the boss is cleaning, I need to clean.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's an example how you. It's same thing with kids. You can tell your kids, hey, don't do this, don't do that, but if you do it how hypocritical it would be. How you want your kids to understand something if you don't do it the same thing?
Oh, like when I tell my nephews and nieces don't smoke,
Right.
but they see me doing it.
Well,
Well,
it's
they
gonna be,
you tell them
it's gonna be hard.
tell them to do something, but you don't
Right.
do the same act yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being your parents, nothing used to irritate me more than being a little kid when my mom would say, "Do it because I said so." And
Yeah.
but tell me why.
Yes.
Sometimes I need.
I make that mistake.
Sometimes
You're
it's a
right.
safety thing,
Yes.
and I should respect what mom and dad say. But
Yes.
sometimes I need to say a little
Yes.
bit more. Tell me
You're just
why
a
this
little
is
kid.
important. Why is this
Exactly.
important?
I
Why is this
agree.
important?
You're you touch a point that is very valid right there.
Yeah.
We like as kids too. Like my mom said, like don't lie. But then as soon as like the neighbor that she doesn't like comes to the door, it's like, oh, tell them I'm not here. It's an innocent lie, but it's teaching you as a kid, as a very like little mind
You get two messages.
to lie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because
So the kid, so the kid at that point doesn't really understand why mom is lying.
right.
She just knows that mom's lying.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
mom should say, hey, son, I'm busy today. I don't have time to talk to this person. Would you tell them mom is busy and I will come out tomorrow? That's
Right.
different than saying I'm not here, right? Like and
Right.
try to
Yeah.
solve a problem right there. But we don't see that. Like I said, we're not perfect. I know we don't understand that when we're young and trying to raise kids and have so much and like soccer in the weekends, school,
Yeah.
Stuff.
all that stuff.
The
It's
house
hard for us
stuff,
to sit
work
down and
stuff.
meditate every
Yeah.
day and how we gonna go in life and try to be better, right? So we just like do things that we saw our parents do and implant it to our kids. Like I do what you just said. It was so true. It's like I tell my kid, like, hey, go pick the dog poop from the yard. Why?
Yeah.
Because I said so. That's why. Because it's just short. But the kid want to understand why. It's because if you help me, I work 80, 90 hours a week. I feel tired. If you help me and mom, we appreciate you putting your effort to
Yes.
pick up the poop so we don't have to, right? We're creating empathy in a kid. We're trying to teach him that if he helps us, we becoming a better family, right? Which I'm less tired, mom's less tired. That little
Yeah.
explanation can change everything in a kid, right?
Right. Right. Well, you know what? And tell the child, I can say this now that I'm older, and I just kind of this realization I came to all of a sudden. It's like you need to learn these things in your life. You might as well go ahead and learn them today. Why wait to your mom's age or your dad's age? If you already know how to do this, you've already got this solved. You can move on to other things, bigger and better. Hey, let's
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Or maybe incorporate that into other aspects for the child or for anyone, for like you and I. Maybe incorporate that. Well, Nicholas has asked us to do this because of this reason, so we understand it, correct?
Yeah,
And
Right.
therefore, you can translate that into other aspects of life, which is what basically you're teaching your employees
Right.
by
That's
example.
by example. Right. Exactly. That's answering to your question. But also, like becoming to a standard of perfection. There's a two-sorted thing on success, right? When you do something so good that you have like that your customers expect you to be this good all the time because you have raised the bar here.
Yeah.
When you don't have it, they notice. Even though it's like 10 times better than other places, because trust me, I've been outside in restaurants and I got like 40-minute wait, another 40 for my food,
inside the middle.
and all kinds of stuff. And I try to be more patient because I know the industry, right?
Yeah.
But I seen things like say, oh Lord, this is this is totally laziness and not a lack of anything.
Their cell phone instead of
Was
waiting
that-
on their customers.
Right.
But is that
Yeah.
leadership though? But if you're not teaching your employees, hey, isn't the way we run things here. This is the way we do. The person wants a hot meal. Don't let it sit back there on the warmer for 20 minutes.
Yes.
That's
Right.
not what they're paying for. But you teach your employees that.
Right. Right.
So you see other restaurants maybe that don't do that, or maybe they're not teaching that. So
Mhm.
what I'm asking is that management that's not teaching them when you get a bad service or if you get bad food? I mean, is that management's responsibility to say, hey, look, this has got to be better here?
I don't
Really
think
cool.
it can be put in one person. It's
Yeah.
it's a lot of things to take. It's a heavy load, right? I think it has to do a lot with changes that are happening, right? Because, for example, for me, you're right. I don't want to let my employees, if a food is in there and they're in the phone, oh, they're gonna get reprimanded. But nowadays, if you reprimand somebody, there's so many jobs out there that say, you don't like what I do, see you later.
Yeah.
And then you're short, and then you're going to bad service anyways, right? Because
Yeah.
if you have like 3
Yes.
employees and fire one the day, and that day is a Friday night, you're working with 2, it's gonna be miserable. It's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be a bad experience regardless. So you're now as a business
But not
owner
for your customers, but for you and your employees.
and everybody else that is a good
That's
employee is
working.
working harder
Yeah.
because that person, right? So you're walking on eggshells, right? So what is the answer? We're learning. I think we all learning and adapting to see what it is.
Work just
Do you
today,
need
may
to be
not
more
work today.
lenient
Yeah.
to people and let them less slack a little bit because we're all human, and let perfection go out of the window because perfection is no longer there, right?
No,
Because
not at
people
all.
are say, okay, well, the next generation is lazy. Nobody wants to work. That's easy said than done. But it's not that nobody wants to work. Everybody's more appreciative after for their time after COVID. I don't want to be here every weekend, but my guys and my employees are have to be every weekend. Here we know they're not with their families; they're here, right?
Yeah, sure.
But what about if I say, dude, like it's not about the money; it's about my time and my peace of mind, right? So I won't have no employees. If you let me right now and say, hey, Nick, would you like? I will just open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and close Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday
Yeah.
because time is not. Nobody's gonna give me back those years that I didn't go to soccer with my son. Nobody's gonna give me those years that I didn't go out on dates with my wife or visit my mother or be with my friends. Nobody. But I'm here every week, doing this thing because I love what I do. But my employees, they don't own the restaurant.
No,
Why
no.
would they be here miserable? And on top of that, I'm like, you're lazy for not coming Friday. No, you're smart because you're putting your Friday in before work, right?
By example.
By
So again, you're leading by example.
Right,
And that's how you teach your employees that this is the way we treat customers.
right.
This is the way we handle food. This,
Mhm.
so on and so forth.
Yeah,
That you have to deal with on a daily basis.
right.
What are, if you could tell us
Mhm.
5 things for you that are most important with your employees
Mhm.
and with your restaurant in view of us as being customers.
Right.
What are some 5 things that you could say, these must happen in order for Cindy and Goose to have a really nice experience? And maybe not
Man,
five, maybe
yeah.
maybe there's 2 or 10.
Well, I think the main thing is to have empathy either both ways, right? It's just like you have the empathy to understand what is happening to my business when you walk in. If you see a line of people, if you see us stressed out, if you see everybody running around, like kind of like, hey sir, like we have to, we want to eat here. How long do you think? I mean, it can be 20, 30 minutes. If you have the time and you have the opportunity to give us that way,
Sure.
stay. If you don't have the time, I'm okay. If you politely say, sir, I have a movie to catch up. I'll come and see you next time. That's all I need. You to be empathetic for what I have. If you see an empty restaurant here, like, and then you come in, you have to be greeted, you know. I'll go and greet you right away and sit you right away and treat you with, most respect my grandma would treat me, right? I
Yeah.
want you to have a pleasant experience. I want you to be here, right? But sometimes I'm not here neither. And my employee, like I say, it's here, but she's filling salsas in the back, let's say. And then for some reason, the hostess doesn't arrive until 5 o'clock because there's no point to having a hostess from 3 to 5, right? So nobody's greeting you, you're looking for it, but somebody at some point will come and acknowledge you, right?
Yeah.
Don't be mad at like, oh, I was there for 10 minutes, nobody greeted me. I'm sorry. Let me explain you why, right? Like, let me do better, right? We made mistakes. I'm not saying we're perfect.
Right.
We make mistakes every day, but we try to fix it. We try to make ways to do better next time. That's our goal, to be better every day, right? And our goal also is for you to have a good experience. I don't think I have 5 steps
So you
on
can't
how to
give
do
me,
it,
yeah.
but I think like what I do is like I said, treating you with respect, you know, make sure to ask how's everything, and I mean it when I ask people, I take the bad and the good, and I love when people also tell me the good thing. Hey, today your sausage will be extra this. All right, I'll go in the bag and trade it. We could, like I
So
say,
you
like
take offense if the Cindy and I say,
never,
hey, you know what? Your fajitas today weren't,
that's my ego. If I would have taken offense, I would have taken personal, and I would not like to be better. It's just like, you know what I'm saying. I watch so much of those Gordon Ramsay
oh yeah,
kitchen nightmares when the owners are like,
Yeah.
"What do you mean we don't have people? Because we are perfect," and they're so into themselves that they
Yes.
cannot take the bad. We are an imperfect. We're not perfect by any means, but we try to do better.
Right. People are hard to take criticism.
Very
you
hard.
know what?
But you can learn from it. You get people don't see that. They
Yeah,
just think it's going to be negative. But okay, they came up. They Cindy, you didn't do this the way you normally do it, or and then I think, oh, maybe there was something wrong with the sauce or something that wasn't beyond me. Maybe it was something down the road that maybe they got a bad batch or something, and it wasn't anything we did. Or
Yeah,
something.
the
Yeah,
biggest lessons comes
yeah.
from the mistakes, from the criticism, right?
Yeah,
Do you watch Sesame Street?
Sesame
Those
Street.
two guys up in the balcony that are
La
always
puerta, abrirla, porfa.
criticizing all the time.
Yeah.
What they're saying, they're witty and they're sharp,
Uh-huh.
but they tell you something and they give you a message that you probably may not have picked up from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a different thing.
No, I think like
A different perspective is what you're both saying.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
so every customer you're saying that walks in here has a different perspective of what their expectations is.
Correct.
So mine is different than Cindy's. Cindy's is different from Tom's. You know what I mean? So everyone that
Yeah.
walks in here has a different perspective. And
Right.
so how do you and your staff translate that? How do you because everyone's got different personalities, as you said.
Right.
Everyone's got different
Right.
lives, different things going on.
Yeah.
So how do you
I just like, most of the time try to go to the
Nice
same
little
point.
margarita, let it chill.
Well, hey, you want a shot of tequila? That that open up always opens up a good conversation,
Yes, I do.
and like I said, like I think it's most of the time, like whenever it's allowed, because sometimes, like I said, you have to have your serious face. It's not that you're mad; it's just like you want people to follow with that. Like sometimes I come here, I'm playing with my guys, and everybody's have that playful game, and then we start slacking on everything else, right?
Yeah.
So when I come to work, it's not that I'm upset or nothing. I'm like very when my mind is focused. I need to get through this thing.
Yes.
I'm the orchestra director here, and I need to guys tune up in the same tune I am, right? So to be like that is nothing wrong with it, and also to go to a table and to distinguish different personalities. Some people don't want to be bothered. I want to just have a meal here and I'm on my way, man. So don't be like, how's everything? Try to they're serious, like, dude, they don't want that. They don't like it. They like to have their meal.
Across is fake to
Right.
me, sir. If you're gonna do that,
Exactly.
it's like this guy's phony.
You need to
Yeah.
learn, and in this industry, that's what you do. You read people. You read
the-
people.
get the
You see
vibe,
response,
get
get
the
the
vibe,
vibe. Oh, they want to talk to the owner. They're here. I'll
Yeah.
tell them. They just want like an extra salsa. I'll bring it.
Yeah.
And people say like, dude, like you've been doing it for 16 years. I still see you in the truck. I still see you serving tables here.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you as a bartender. Why don't you just like let other people do it? Like, it's just. You know what? I really enjoy what I do. I want to be here. And no matter like if I make 30, 40, 50, whatever money I make, like I always gonna be here, right?
Yeah.
Because that for me, it's really what I enjoy. Now, I like to be here less? Yes, don't get me wrong. I would like to be here
With
less.
the family.
I think I'd like to enjoy also.
Yes, yes. But I'm very grateful as well. And I think like to be thankful for the things you have now, is how you also project to others, right? That guy is doing that because, he cares for us. He cares for our customers. He cares for everybody that walks through the door. That's what he is here, right? Like people on my face because I'm constantly on, hey,
Yeah.
Like the COVID, you had to reinvent yourself. You had the margaritas to go, and the
Yeah.
food to go. And I came in and got I'm sitting at home by myself, and that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How did that affect your business during COVID? And did that help your business during COVID? Like being able to have the to go service, and I'm sure that you had people pull up and then you went out, right? A lot of restaurants are
Yeah,
doing that.
I used to wear a taco outfit outside,
Yeah.
and take taco like out, and then like people, my wife say, "What you doing?" Then people will know like you're married to me. I was like, "Yeah, that's the point," like yeah, like that's when you say when one door opens, when the one door closes, another one opens.
Open.
Yeah.
And COVID was for that for us because like I said, coming from a place where you don't have you have built a business when you didn't have customers.
Yeah.
I used to sit in a corner in a little when my restaurant was little, waiting and counting how many people will go to Schnucks and then would not come to eat here, right?
Yeah.
Like they will pass my restaurant like it was a ghost town. I'm not kidding. Like
Oh,
I worry about bills. I worry about what I'm
Yeah.
gonna feed my kid or how I'm gonna do this.
You're even going to get your
Like,
supplies, 'cause
Right.
everything
And that's
is
2007 when I
Yeah.
opened. 2008, the recession come in. Like I learned like that, man. So this is what I used to do. A customer will come in. It's like, you have a spinach quesadilla. Yes, sir, I do. And I didn't have it. So I run the back door of my restaurant, go to Schnucks. Thank goodness Schnucks is next to me.
Yeah.
Buy a spinach, come back, cook it, and give it to the customer because I didn't want to lose that customer, right?
Right,
For me,
right.
that customer was like, okay,
everything.
right.
He was your everything.
My sister was I was in the kitchen. My sister was in the front. She had to go and pick up her daughter from school. I was 1 hour, 2 hours here by myself, right?
Yeah.
In the slow times, right? But a six stop will come into the restaurant and I'll see them and it's like, Okay. And I used to go to the kitchen and cook that myself,
Yes.
talking, so they think I'm not the server is not the cook, right? So I talk to myself like, hey, number one, or number five, or number six, and I'm like, oh, I'm not coming the front running. It's like they're reviewing that. Okay, it's like, and I'll go back and forward, because I didn't want
Yeah.
to think there's only one worker. Like how, it was so shameful for me because I couldn't hire people. But at the same time, this is the perseverance. This is the things that I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
So in COVID, when that happened, I was like, dude, I went through these hard times. This it cannot break us, right? We're gonna get over this. We're gonna reinvent ourselves. I'm gonna be outside. We're gonna serve, and we learn that 120 cars a day can go through the line without having nobody here.
No one inside.
No real
No
estate,
one-
no rent, no nothing.
Right.
Free, basically, right?
Yeah.
So we learn a new thing, curbside.
So is that how the truck? So is that how the truck started? Not only curbside, but is that
No,
how the truck
the truck started before that.
Oh,
The
okay.
truck started to 18 because we were able to feed offices like without the employees coming out. Because
Curbside, do you still have? Is that still a thing?
we keep it curbside because like we are loyal to curbside because curbside have maintained us during the hard times, and I'm one of the persons that are very loyal to what you do to me, right?
Some
This
places-
community
some
have
places didn't keep it.
it's hard. It's
Yeah.
it's extremely hard. It's running another business, literally,
Yeah.
and people get upset at the beginning. Like, I want to put an order. It's like, man, I cannot be with you in the phone for 15 minutes because I had to pack. I had to do all these things. Put it online. Thank you. Well, how you mean? Like, well, that's it easy because the computer allows you to
Yeah.
spend time,
Yeah.
put your order, write exactly what you want,
Mhm.
and then I can get 3 or 4 orders by the time I'm in the phone and listen to that. And it
Hey,
says
I don't want
expedite.
tomatoes. I don't
So
want this and this. and
I
this.
am learning, but so are you as a customer. You're learning how it's going to be better for you at the end because that's my goal.
Yeah.
I want you to be happy and not another 10 people. But if I only make you happy, what about the other 9 people, right?
Yeah.
My goal is to reach the most. So curbside, I tried my best, but at some point when this is full and I have curbside, I had to shut down curbside. And people call in, it's like, we cannot put an order. Yes, the kitchen is backed up. Let me wait, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes when, like I said last time, a customer's here, want to get seated in 10 minutes, don't see nothing here, but it's 20 tickets on curbside in the kitchen. It's going to be a wait.
Yeah.
Yes. But there's nobody here. Well, there is like in the kitchen. So I'm sorry, like,
And I've been to places where they didn't have the staff to wait on a lot of tables, so they didn't seat everybody. They might sit 8 out of the 16 tables. I got one lady working on all these 8. I got nobody else for the other 8. And
What-
Yeah,
That's-
they don't take that in
yeah.
account though, right? I mean,
Right.
right.
a lot
No,
of
no.
customers don't take that in account. Hey, he's only got 2 people here and himself. He's back there cooking,
Yeah.
and he's got a wait staff and a bar. They
And
don't
then
take
people
that in
don't
account.
take in consideration breaks too. Like people go to
Yeah.
break from 3 to 5, and then like it's only 2 cooks in the kitchen until the other 2 comes in. So that layer of employees rotating and changing,
Right.
it's very hard to manage. And like I said, I don't expect you. I'm the owner. I should manage that. I don't expect you to understand how to manage my restaurant, but I expect you to understand when I'm telling you something, it's for your own good. I don't want to sit you there and wait 45 minutes,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Ya los puedes sentar, vale. Siéntalos en la mesa del otro lado.
Would you have if you have to go? I mean, my team.
No, I mean, they're like doing the stuff, but like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, in the next, probably, we can wrap it up in the next 10, 15 minutes.
How about we can wrap it up with this?
Okay.
All right, this I'd like you to answer. Seriously,
right, okay.
This I'd like you to answer because
Pressure right there.
I
All
still
right.
want to get him on I want him to see what he looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get
Hey,
you on.
guys, you ready,
He's
guys?
a handsome man. He's a handsome man.
All right.
Looking-
This is
he's
me.
good looking,
Oh,
ladies.
there you go.
Or
See,
yeah,
we should have had him on the whole time, not us.
he could have said by me.
A little red here. But
No,
thank you.
here's a question I'd like for you to answer,
Yes.
sir. Is if I'm new to this restaurant, right? I've never been in here before.
Mhm.
What are some menu items that you recommend, or maybe some popular ones that you would suggest to Cindy and myself and to all the viewers that come in that are listening right now? What would you recommend ordering? Maybe some popular ones or something that maybe
Yeah.
is there something off the menu as well that you will make? Like you said, you went to Schnucks and got
Yeah.
an ingredient and made that for that customer.
Well, one of the most successful items we have in the restaurant is items that we have created for ourselves, because
Oh.
after a long day, like nobody wants to cook, nobody wants to do anything else. So we put it together and kind of like created this thing. So it becomes like personal to us. And then like the customers react really well because we put it in the menu and see. The Azteca burrito is one of that. The Azteca burrito is like rice, beans, grilled chicken, or a steak, pico, white cheese,
All inside the burrito?
all inside
all
a
in-
burrito. And then it comes with a top of a white cheese,
Wow.
sriracha sauce, and pico. on top.
Almost like a Latin version of a horseshoe.
Yeah, almost, yes. Everything in wrapped in a tortilla.
All right.
Smoother with cheese.
Yeah.
Very Midwesty, you know.
And so you
But
Life
that's
is
one of
better with
our
cheese,
yeah.
yes.
And the other one is the street tacos. The street tacos are 5 different tacos. You know, there's no substitutions, unfortunately, on that because you get 5 tacos with 5 different toppings. You know, and the reason I created that item is because I can never make up my mind what I want.
whether you want
So I
chicken,
want,
pork,
yeah,
or
so I got 1 mushroom, 1 steak, 1 chicken,
Oh.
1 pork, and
Yeah.
1 shredded pork.
no,
Right?
that doesn't feed a family right there. With
Oh, like it's
multiple-
me, like it's like a smaller tortilla, but like it's a good portion. Two people can share that.
I
almost.
like that too. I
Yeah.
remember as a little kid, I'd be there at the candy store and you only got so much money. And you're like,
What should I
"God,
get?
what do I buy?
Yeah, so those are the 2 popular items. Of
Yeah.
course, margaritas. You know, have a drink on a margarita.
what
relax.
what type of flavor margaritas do you serve here, sir? What do you offer at this restaurant as far as margaritas go? Flavor.
It was strawberry, peach, mango, raspberry, and the regular lime.
What's the most popular food item
Uh-huh.
and the most popular margarita?
Most popular food item will be the Azteca burrito, and the margarita will be the regular margarita on the rocks.
And where could we find this establishment? My listeners find you. Where
Well,
could we find you?
He's located at 2753 Chatham Road. That's next to the store. It's called Schnucks. It's in front of the office on aisles.
On Montvale, yeah, in
On
the Montvale
Montvale,
Plaza,
yeah.
yeah.
So it says Chatham Road, but we face aisles, you know.
Yeah.
So the address is kind of really. But if you see Schnucks, we're on the west side of Schnucks, so that's that.
Well, I'd like to thank you, sir, not take much more of your time because I know that you have.
I'm gonna put these guys so they see you
Yeah.
more than me.
I'll give a view of this and then I will end this. I know you got customers. Thank you so much for spending time with us, sir. I'd love for you to come back and maybe we do this again. Maybe perhaps we'll bring some of our listeners with us.
Oh,
and eat
wonderful!
at your
Yeah.
establishment. Maybe you and your staff would join us again.
Yes. Well, thank you very much again, Len. Thanks for the opportunity of expressing myself and telling my story. That's always something I enjoy doing. And thank you, and good to meet you, man. Thank you for the intake and all the
Yeah.
The conversation we just
yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
We have a lot of the same beliefs.
Did it feel like an interview to you? Or did it feel like a conversation?
Not at all. It feel like a conversation.
Very
Yeah, like
good.
a very
Yeah,
like
very
very
We've
nice,
known each
good
other a long
conversation.
time, you know.
All right,
Yeah,
everybody. Thank
yeah.
you for joining us on Goose Troop. Cindy, if you'll say goodbye.
Goodbye.
That's all you're gonna say? That's all you got?
No, I really enjoyed this. This is our first time on location, and you made us very comfortable and at
You
home.
have,
and
you
it's,
have.
very nice.
And this
Very
is
nice.
again, it's called Azteca. It's in the Montvale Plaza. We're here with my buddy, our new friend, Nicholas, and we're gonna enjoy a nice meal with this
Thank you,
young man.
Oh, thank
And
you.
we'll see you until next time, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you so much. All right, Christina, if you'll